A cemetery across the river in Illinois is now in the spotlight as locals are working to save it. The state has specific laws on cemetery upkeep, and the residents of Brooklyn, Illinois need to fix decades of overgrowth.
Environmental reporter Avery Martinez shares how they're trying to protect their past.
The cemetery is more than a graveyard. It's a piece of American history. One of the first burial sites for Black Americans with designated plots and markers. For generations, it was lost in the woods. But now the community is pushing to clean it up and let its story be told.
If you want to know how civilized the people are, look at how they treat their dead. And that resonated in my soul.
And with other people in Brooklyn, the oldest incorporated Black community in America, with a long history passed down from generation to generation.
My father, he come and got a lot of those fellas out in the community to come out here and start on this grave site back years ago. And he believed and knew that it had history, and he wanted to start and clean up the graveyard.
And unofficially started collecting the history of Brooklyn, like these meeting minutes dating back to the 1890s, outlining the community's plans and including sketches.
These people have told us these stories. My father was determined to tell me that you need to get yourself in order and push for the history of Brooklyn.
Because it had been lost to the weeds, woods, and time. Markers overturned and hidden, slowly forgot.
But you have to secure your past.
To follow state laws, they'll trim trees, clean gravestones, and purchase markers for the ones lost to time.
We don't have any way of knowing who's in that particular spot.
But placing their name keeps their memory alive. Locals didn't even know about the cemetery until elders mentioned it in passing.
Because the weeds, the vegetation obscured everything. It's going to take a lot of professional work.
Which they hope they can find from local businesses on the east side. Attempts in the 1990s cleared this section, which the Historical Society hopes to expand.
This is something that is wonderful. Never knew that you could walk on the top of a Holy Grail as growing up. We didn't know the importance of it.
Families still connected.
Hawkins and his descendants are still there in Brooklyn. You couldn't even see his marker.
It was January 1891 when this cemetery land was purchased for a single U.S. dollar.
And the deed stipulated that the land could only be used for burial purposes. So that sentence was profound. Because, you know, back in the day during those times when Black people were buried, it was the swampy area. But our town was given land designated for burial. And this happened like 15, 20 years before St. Louis or Missouri was able to get a cemetery for Black people.
The earth itself has told the story. Go dig it.
It is somewhere around 7 acres in size, but there could be many more lost graves.
My feeling, it's a story that needs to be told.
But the push to improve the cemetery has had a few false starts. Trespassing has pushed the issue forward.
The cemetery has been vandalized.
They want to place an iron fence and a historical marker. With proper groundskeeping and cleanup, Roberta hopes it'll be a place of peace.
Because I believe that their spirits are with us, and I think they know when they've been forgotten and neglected. I'm sorry, I'm just a big crybaby.
It is very peaceful. There's family there.
And we don't want that history to get lost again for the next generation to have to start all over when we could have done something ourselves.
But it takes unity to make this happen. Each entity in the community of Brooklyn should be in collaboration with one another to make this happen.
The Historical Society has support from a number of state and archaeological groups in Illinois, and volunteers are ready to help.
We have to pass it on, not only in the community within itself, but all the way across America.
And local folks are asking for more support through donations, which can be made at betterworld.org. You can find a link on our website. For First Alert 4, I'm Avery Martinez.